Well, it's good to be back to share with you again today. I trust that what we shared with you last week, that you enjoyed that and that you were encouraged, and you're anxious to hear what we would share today. I promised you last week that we would share some personal testimonies about being sick. Of course, you know that we are pastors, and even though we are pastors, first of all, we're human beings. We live in these bodies that we spoke to you about, that are flesh and blood, and we do get sick. Let me give you a testimony about me and my sickness at one time. Several years ago, I did business on the island of Anguilla, and I used to run 2 or 3 businesses at the same time. Thank God for that. I had a fishing business and a furniture business running at one time. And while I was doing that, I became very ill. So sick that I was unable to do any heavy form of work. Every doctor that I would go to, my wife would go with me to the doctors. And I want to thank God for her that she was there for me in time of my sickness, always there for me. Thank God for her. I'm not sure that all of you would remember Dr. Beale, but I'm sure you remember Dr. Beale, Pastor Collins.
Yes.
Dr. Beale is a doctor from the French side. And Minnie and Williams would come over on the boat and go to Dr. Beale. He was close to the port. So we would go to Dr. Beale, and Dr. Beale was good at prescribing medication. When he would prescribe medication for me and my family, it would always work. So I would come over to Dr. Beale. But when I got sick this time, I came over to Beale. He gave me some medication, didn't get better. Came back to him, he changed it, gave me some more, didn't get better. And he kept on trying to help me and didn't get better. And one day I came over and he said to me, while he was attending to me, he said to me, I'm going to give you an injection to help you to get back home. After I give it to you, he said, don't come back. I am not able to help you with this situation. Well, you could imagine how I felt when my doctor, the one that I believed in, told me that he is unable to help me. And when I was seeing these doctors, remember I was also praying. And of course, we would use our remedies. I was doing everything that I can, but just wasn't getting better. I went home to my home doctor and explaining my situation. And after he checking me out and going to him several times, he said, you have a serious problem. And I don't believe that you'll be able to do any hard work for the rest of your life again. I remember him saying, if you need a spoon lift, pay someone to lift it. I was so sick, Pastor Collins, that my wife would have to take me to the bathroom. One day I booked my passage and I went to New York. I did some x-rays. And after doing the x-rays, I was sick with my back. After doing the x-rays, the orthopedic surgeon said, you need surgery. But after saying you need surgery, he said something else. He said, but it's no guarantee that you will walk. After the surgery, he says a 50-50 chance. Of course, if somebody tell you that there's no guarantee that you will walk, it's a 50-50 chance, you don't want to take the chance with that. My uncle told me, he said, you can walk now. And if it's a 50-50 chance, nobody's gonna cut you and mess with your back. God is going to see you through with your back. I say that to say that we all from time to time get sick, and here it is, I've been sick. But what should be our attitude when we hear things like the doctor who said to me, I'm going to give you an injection to help you to get home. It doesn't make sense for you to come back because I can't help. When I heard the doctor say, you're serious, I don't think that you'll be able to do any form of hard work again. What would come in your mind, Pastor Collins, when you hear them type of things? In the mind of anybody.
Yeah. Questions would always come, why me? What did I do? What did I do wrong? And why is this allowed to come my way? And those questions will always pop up. Why did God allow this? Those would usually come to mind. And the feeling of, if I'm good for anything anymore, why should I be around if I'm of no value? Those are some of the thoughts and questions I think would come to someone's mind.
Yeah. And then, when someone gives up on you, chances are that you could give up on yourself. The doctor tells you, don't come back. The other one tells you you're serious. The next one tells you, hey, this is so serious, you need surgery, but it's a 50-50 chance. You could give up on yourself and don't want people to say pull in, where you don't want to do anything, nobody to get you better. Even when doctors say that they are unable to help you, you and I should always think of the one who took nothing and made us, and that is God. And we should always pray, even when we go to doctors, and seek God's help to help us in matters like these. I sought the help of the Lord, and He helped me. Today, I want to thank Him so much for putting me back on my feet and even using me in His ministry. God has been so good to me, and I give Him thanks. I'm sure that you would have an experience that you would like to share with the folks, Pastor Collins, and encourage them of times when you were sick.
Yes, indeed. Of course, after being this age, I would have had many times being sick, but the strongest and the longest time was a back issue as well. Coincidentally, we both had back issues. That was probably around 2012, I believe. And of course, involved with church work. And there was a point where we had T-shirt Sunday coming up. I was dealing with T-shirt boxes and so forth. I was moving a box, and obviously I didn't lift it properly, and I felt something in my back, which turned out to be a disc being ruptured, and I actually felt the fluid flowing out, but I didn't know exactly what was going on. And I just kept on doing what I needed to do, went to bed, and the next day up in the boat, there was some pain, not as bad as it ended up becoming. But later on during the day, I realized, hey, I can't be at work anymore. Let me just go home and rest. This problem might pass. Then later on in the day, I realized this is really tough. So I couldn't even go to drive to pick up the children because it was too painful. So I called somebody to pick up the children. And then eventually I ended up by the doctor and took some scans and so forth. And it was a ruptured disc. And it was ruptured in a way that it put pressure on the sciatic nerve. And the sciatic nerve is a nerve that runs from the middle of your back. It comes along the outside of your leg and goes straight down to the tip of your toe. So as time went on, the pain became greater, and I felt more and more of that pressure just radiating all the way down. I couldn't walk. I would either have to hop or drag, and it was extremely painful. So I couldn't, it was a time when I was doing a lot, work-wise, family-wise, and so forth. So I was incapacitated. Couldn't come to church, couldn't do what I needed to do, couldn't go to work, actually couldn't go anywhere. My regimen was just get up, have breakfast, take medication and painkillers, make sure to take the painkillers throughout the day. And of course, anybody who's been sick seriously would realize that at night, it's always the toughest. So at night, I would take the painkillers, they would last for most of the night. And after they wear off, it would be lay down for 5 minutes on my back, 5 minutes on the side, 5 minutes on my back, 5 minutes on the side. And it would be like that until morning broke, and then I was able to get up and have breakfast and so forth. Listening to the doctors and so forth, it wasn't a case too much like Pastor Webster's where they didn't see the possibility. From what they saw, it was a case similar to things they saw in the past, and they said within 6 to 8 weeks you should be back on track and so forth. So I never had the point where I heard that it was a hopeless case, or even that I thought it was a hopeless case. My issue was that it was long, and of course it was painful as well. And if you were somebody that is known for going and doing and going, it's tough sometimes to just sit and to lay down and to not do and to relax and so forth. I must say thank you for my wife, son, daughter, my mom as well, and of course all the brothers and sisters from church who prayed and prayed. And of course I believe the prayers of God and the working of God allowed me to get healed. I must honestly say every day I actually felt better. Every single day. It wasn't always a huge step, and most times it wasn't a huge step. But every single day I felt better. Felt better to the point where I could do a little walking, and I borrowed a cane so I could walk around.
Where you borrowed that cane from?
from Pastor Webster.
Oh my God.
It was a gift he got when he turned, 50?
50.
Yeah, imagine I used his old man cane before him. But that allowed me to move around more, and as I got a little more strength, I decided to let me keep moving and flexing and moving and flexing and moving and flexing. And it's funny, that cane even turned to a correctional device for the children because I could move as before, but the cane could reach them, but I couldn't reach them. But that pain was serious. It was quite serious. And I'm thankful to God for allowing me to come through that and get beyond that.
Yeah. One may wonder, but why are they sharing these testimonies? We shared with you 2 men from Scripture, Trophimus and Epaphroditus. They were sick. And we shared with you Pastor Collins and myself. So all we are trying to say is that, yeah, we do get sick. We do get sick. And what we need to do is to put our faith and our trust in God. Sometimes we contribute towards that. We got to come back in the next devotion and share with you on that. And what are some of the things that we can do to keep us healthy when we are sick? What should we do to get better? Thank you so much for listening. Trust that we have been a blessing to you today. And feel free, give us a call if you would like to even be on the program. We don't mind talking with you. If you have something that you would like to share that will help others, just give us a call and we would connect you to Let's Talk.